Now, Tom O'Brien.
Welcome, folks. This is Tom O'Brien of TFNN. We go 5 days a week. We go 7 hours a day. We go 24 hours a day on the internet at TFNN.com. Always remember, folks, whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows. Hope everyone had a great weekend, safe weekend. Let's make it a great week. Great to be back with you, too, folks. Let's take a look at one of our 4 agreements. Surrender and let go of the past. Whatever life takes away from you, let it go. When you surrender and let go of the past, you allow yourself to be fully alive in the moment. Letting go of the past, that means you enjoy the dream that is happening right here, right now. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow's not here. What are you going to do right now? Market-wise, let's take a look at it out here. We had the Dow Industrials up 6, NASDAQ up 23, S&P's up 5.5. Gold contract up $6.90, trading at $1,662 an ounce. Silver up 35 cents at $32.92 an ounce. Platinum up $7.50 at $1,679 an ounce. Copper up 2.5 pennies at $3.90 a pound. Light sweet crude up 92 cents at $107.98 a barrel. Bonds down 27.6 at 135.19. Dollar off 38 ticks at 79.69. The euro up 65 at 132, and the yen is at 83.33. Our phone number is 877-927-6648. Give us a call, folks. Want to know what's going on in your world? In the world of the S&Ps, let's take a look at them. What do you have? You are at 1409.75. You did 700 million out there today. If we, well, I got to back up here a bit because no doubt what you had out here last week is that on the 13th, you went from 1371 to 1396. That was the stress test, all of the above. When we broke topside up there, folks, you broke topside and still didn't have the juice. It's pretty amazing, actually. But bottom line, you broke topside with 907 million versus you should be banging out 1.4, 1.5 billion. Now, what we did out here today went to another high. Volume still weak, but bottom line, well, the Dow didn't go to another high today, but this still wants to push into 13,289. NASDAQ Composite. Now, NASDAQ Composite flat out is all about Apple. Apple closed at a new high. 601. NASDAQ Composite up $23 today. NASDAQ Composite did 1.5 billion. We go over to the Russell 2000. Now, what you have with the Russell 2000 is this. The Russell was the only one that hadn't been able to take out your February highs, and it did it today. You're at 837.77. When you actually bring this back, what you'll see is that the high that this is trying to get into it with the Russell is up at about, you get about 860. So what does it all mean? Well, let's go to the SPY first. You take a look at the SPY. This is what you have with the SPY. The SPY is at 140.85. So, the first benchmark out there, folks, was the 27th of October. That was 129. You're 11 points away from that. That was 393 million. You basically took that out, 198 million. We went another high on the 13th with 184. Now, today what we do 118. They're stretching it, no doubt, and I suspect they'll stretch it a bit more. Why? Because you're at 140.85, and that's a closing high. You're at 140.78 was the high that was on the 3rd. The Qs. We go over to the 3 Qs. You take a look at the 3 Qs. What you have with the 3 Qs is this. 3 Qs, the benchmark out there on the 27th at 59 was 100 million. We got over that high with 61 million. We did on the 13th, 61 million. Today, you do 57 million. I expect that's going to push it a little bit more. Now, small caps. We go over to the small caps. We take a look at the small caps. What the small caps did out here today is this. The small caps are having a rough time getting over, if I use the IWM, getting over the price point of 83.22. You had 72 million there. It got over it today, closed over it, had 65 million. The small caps are trying to catch up with the S&P, with the Dow Industrials. If we take a look at this and we put this back on a yearly basis, what you're going to see is that the high out there from the July high is 85, 97. Yeah, I suspect it probably wants to get tagged. Now, with all that being said and done, what you still have, and this is crucial to understand, is that you have just about, it's hard to tell whether everyone's in yet, but if you go look at the 5-day arms reading, what you have, you're at about 3.30. When you get, what that means specifically is this, folks, is it actually means that most folks are buying the exact same stocks. When you're buying the exact same stocks, the market is leaning one way. When the market's leaning one way, bottom line, it doesn't take much to push it the other way. Now, Apple. Let's go over and take a look at Apple. What we have with Apple is this. Apple today does 31 million shares. It's at 601. Bottom line, you close at a higher high, you can go higher. Apple came out with a dividend this morning. That dividend they're going to pay $2.50 approximately every quarter. They're going to buy back $10 billion worth of stock. Fundamentally, what you have is that they're pushing out $16 billion worth of free cash flow every quarter. What they are going to have to do, which is going to be intriguing to see how how much tax they actually have to pay on us. Out of the $92 billion that they have cash right now, $98 billion, I believe, three quarters of that is overseas. If they repatriate that to the United States, they're going to get hit with a big tax bill. So when they're buying stock back at 600, if in fact that's how they do it, that pushes the buyback into about $900, because you can take a 30% hit on it, meaning repatriating the money, and that's what they're paying. Why do they have to do that? Well, it has to do with the dilution of the stock, because they're going to give it to employees, you know. And as one of the Tigresses said, they read that it was U.S. money, and it very well could be, but they don't have. Well, they have plenty of money, but the bottom line is that I suspect that they're going to have to bring some of it back, because you can't do it. Let's see, 250. Well, I can add the numbers up. They don't have enough right at this particular point onshore to do what they want to do. It doesn't mean that they don't go out there and borrow it. Our phone number is 877-927-6648. Bank of America down 27 cents. You had Ford up 12. Citigroup was up 47. Wells Fargo is up 36. Let's go over to the bond market. The bonds, is pretty wild. Coming back to the market in general, and everywhere I read that the bond market had imploded. Well, it's all the bond market actually did, folks, okay, was come back to the same benchmark that we've been talking about in the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&Ps on the way up, and that was the October 27th levels. October 27th, it came off the bottom, the 30-year bond now, came off the bottom at 133.17 with conviction. And that's all we're doing is going back into that level. If you take a look at the TLT, what you have with the TLT is this. The TLT today came down. The low of the 27th was 109.82. We had volume there of 19 million. The TLT came down to a price point today of 109.69, had volume of 13 million, rejected lower price. Now, because of the way that we came down last week, we had some juice behind the move. You came down with 24 million shares on the 14th. What you want to see before you step into this baby is that you want to see the sign of strength, then a pullback with lighter volume. What that would set up is actually would set up a buy inside the bonds, saying that bottom line is that the interest rate levels are not finished yet on the way down. You know, we had a spike up. It's a natural spike up. Put it all together, nothing has changed. You have higher highs. You have no juice inside the market, and that never ends in a way that is positive for the folks that are investing at highs with lighter volume, less people in the store. And what does that mean, folks? It means they're pushing out stock. Paper. This is Tom O'Brien. This is TFNN. You stay right there, folks. We're coming right back.